Welcome to Perfect Posture. I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes helping guide you through some more sort of visualizations and ways that we can help support the lifeline of our spine and support keeping this nice tall stack, head over heart, heart over hips, and the energy drawing up our body. So I call it the upward flow of energy, and it's this seeking that I look for in my yoga practice of drawing energy, working in the opposite direction of gravity. So I always start at the bottom and I work at lifting my body all the way up, energy all the way out the crown of the head. And that visualization really quickly helps you to find a little more traction so we can draw some compression out of the spine and sit up nice and tall. If you didn't have an opportunity to do last week's Perfect Posture class, I suggest that you incorporate that as well, although you can do it after this one. Last week we did some visualization and some gentle stretches to open up across the chest, so that helping pull the shoulders back, rolling and opening the shoulders and lengthening across the chest so that we can keep that thoracic spine in a little bit more of a natural position. Today we're going to start seated and then we're going to work our way up to standing, and I want to help you learn some techniques in a forward fold that are really going to be changing for you and help you to always draw that energy up and out the crown of the head and keep your spine as lengthened as you naturally can in your own body. So if you'll join me in just crossing your legs, if you choose to sit in a chair here, that's fine. I just want you to close the eyes for a second, take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose. Of exhales. Just see if you can find where you're grounded here, so through the sit bones, through the legs. Just take a quick second just to arrive in the practice and find that energy that I'm looking for. So remember to start at the tailbone. My visualization of a zipper is one that's really helpful. So you can imagine that that zipper is starting at the tailbone and slowly drawing up your back. So not only are you going to try to feel the sensation of the zipper climbing your spine, but also that drawing of the energy and all your muscles and support inwards as the zipper comes up your back. Remember to include the back side of the neck, and to visualize that zipper coming all the way up the back of your head, just noticing how tall you're sitting here and noticing how you've neutralized your chin and just created a lot of nice space for the neck. Let's take one deep breath in through your nose. With your exhale, let go of everything we just did. Let your whole body just relax. Some of you will feel yourself sort of sink and get heavier. Okay? Bring everything back up again, nice and tall. Proud across the chest. Hands are going to come to heart center. Just take one deep breath in. Reach up through the fingertips. We're going to hold palms together. I just want you to wiggle the fingers, try to wake up the lateral lines of our body. So from the fingers all the way down the armpits, sides of the body. As you reach up, try to really anchor down through the hips. Create a nice long line between those 2 points. Good. Let your arms come back down beside you. We are going to come onto our hands and knees here. Just taking a couple of cat-cows just to bring some lubrication and movement into the spine. And you can take these at your own speed, but just try to include the correct breath sequence. So inhale as you come forward, lifting the tailbone, relaxing the belly. Exhale, press away from the floor, cat spine. And repeat, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more of each. Good, coming back just to a neutral table position, and then we're going to make our way up to standing. So just come up to standing as you need to. Working first at taking the hips the feet wide. And so what this will help you do is to just feel slightly more flexible. You certainly could use a block here. I'm going to grab one just for the purpose of showing you guys. Or you could also just use something that, you know, resembles the shape of a block. Okay, so I want to talk about finding this connection with the upward flow of energy from a standing position and sort of the visual and internal cues you can tell yourself to bring everything into a nice tall stack when we're standing. So when we're seated, I think about the pelvic bowl as being the base. And here you can do the same thing just for a second, but I want you to bring hands to the hips and low on the hips. So I don't mean have your hands around your waist, literally down where the bony points of the hips are. And just neutralize the pelvis. So you can play for a second with shooting the tailbone out behind you and then squeezing your bum and tucking your tailbone way under. Okay, one more time, tailbone out behind you. Squeeze and tuck your bum way under. Okay, come to wherever is natural for you and then just draw the tailbone towards the floor. So for some people it'll be quite a tuck or a movement, and others it'll just be a little sensation that helps you engage through the backside of the body. So from here I want you to lift the toes, spread the toes, wiggle the feet, whatever you need to do to make a connection with all four corners of each foot on the floor. So being really mindful to not roll to one side or roll to the other. If you can feel it, it takes some practice, but I want you to just draw your attention and awareness to the arch of your foot. So the inside of each foot. And imagine that there's a string and that string is attached just to this sort of sensitive spot on the arch of the foot. I want you to track that, or in your mind, pull that string all the way up the insides of your legs. You'll feel yourself draw the insides of the knees up and bring that all the way up into the groin or into the pelvis. With that connection, neutralize the tailbone, like I mentioned before, and just see and notice if you feel really connected and strong in the thigh bones. Okay, so that is like our anchor. This is our point from the hips down that is sort of drawing the spine down and allowing us to draw the rest of our energy up. Okay, keep the hands on the hips here for a second. You can close your eyes if you want to. Your legs should be working, your glutes should be turned on, and start to close the low ribs together, so belly to spine. If you can imagine the front of your body like elevator doors, try to close those elevator doors in towards the center. Finally, just adjusting your shoulders, adjusting your neck, stacking everything nice and tall. Likely feeling slightly unnatural here, but that's okay. Over time, this becomes second nature. Check in with the legs, make sure you're staying really secure and solid. Okay, and then we're going to use the middle fingers as reference points. So either on the points of the hips, or you can even slide them down more to where the crease of the hips is. And we're slowly going to take a forward fold. So just notice what's happening with the body. Stay strong in the legs. Stay long in the back. And fold over those middle fingers. So we're folding exactly from the pelvis. Okay? It's like we're just lowering the chest down here. This is where you could release the hands. See if you can bring your hands nice and flat to the mat or up onto a block. Okay? Wherever you're at, try to keep the neck in line with the rest of the spine. So don't look forward and kink the neck. If you're in the fold with your hands down, you can look back through your legs. And then let's all soften and bend the knees. Just start to curl yourself. Be really heavy like a rag doll here, coming all the way up to standing. Good job. Moving inward. So feet are going to come hip distance apart. We're going to go through this sort of mindful setup one more time. Actually twice more, but once more right now. Okay, so all the same principles as we just did. We want to take the hands onto the hips here. You can sort of notice or feel where you're at with the belly and with the glutes. I want you to draw the sit bones together. Anchor your tailbone down so your pelvis is just in a nice sort of level position. And then get really strong through the lower body. So strong through the legs, that sensation of drawing the knees up. Contact with the feet, spread your toes nice and wide. Your thighs should feel like anchors and your feet like roots of a tree. Okay? From there, let's focus on this transition point, working up the body. So belly drawing in, close those elevator doors on the front side of the body. Stack your spine nice and tall. Energy coming all the way out the crown of the head here. Take a deep breath. Okay, hands can stay to the hips or slide down to the crease. And stay strong through the legs as we nice and slowly draw ourselves forward. So you're never folding forward from the belly. We're folding forward from the pelvis so that we can keep the torso and upper body in extension. Extended, I should say. Lower the chest down. And then if you're able to, see if you can bring the hands flat to the floor. You may have noticed this affects the flexibility here now that our feet are closer together. That's why I started with them wide, and we're going to slowly make our way till they're touching. A block is a good option here too. Keep drawing that belly and diaphragm in and up. See if you can feel the spine as we fold. So the lengthening of the tailbone, our tailbone is our highest point here. Tailbone is drawing up behind you. The spine is lengthening forward in your fold. Okay, bend your knees. Just roll your body up to standing. Be nice and easy here as we stack all the way up overhead. Good job. Awesome. Okay. Number 3, you guys are doing great. Okay, this is all about just breaking it down, slowing it down, being really mindful. This is something that's going to really enhance your flexibility and your support through your body in your regular yoga practice. If you can really practice folding correctly every single time. Okay, so feet are going to kiss close together. Insides of my feet are touching sort of wherever they naturally make contact. For me, it's the heels. And then sort of the mounds of the big toes. I want you to do the same thing with the pelvis. So tip the tailbone down. Your sit bones are going to be drawing together behind you, and your hips are going to feel as though they're broadening in front of you. Get strong in the legs. So supportive and strong, anchoring down through the thigh bones, spreading your feet. I know I'm so bossy. Hands to the hips here. Stack everything nice and tall. With our feet nice and close together and our hips locked in nice and close, you may feel that you can get a little more range of motion to open the chest, draw the shoulder blades down your back. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Just recognize what this feels like here. All the energy drawing up the back and out the crown of the head. And then slowly folding forward. Let's lead with the heart or lead with the chest. You can feel yourself take the tailbone back behind you. Imagine like we're dropping the chest down to rest on the thighs. Okay, try your best to keep length through your back as we fold. Hands flat to the floor, if that's an option. Onto a block would be good as well. Take a breath. Try not to brace against the opening or the stretch in the glutes and the hamstrings. We need to allow our body to soften and allow those muscles to pull across and open. Give us a little more space. Take one more breath. Good job. Bend your knees and come all the way up here. Nice and tall. To the very top. I just want to say to you guys, if those 3 folds were very difficult for you, please know that there are so many people who feel or get stuck on what they can't do. I myself am very, very, very not naturally flexible. I talk about, or I maybe have even already mentioned it, it took me years to be able to touch my toes. And so my body, it's kind of one of those things, it's like you don't think it's that much of a bother to save $1 a day, but in a year, you're pretty happy you have $365, right? So if you can make a tiny bit of progress every time you do this, a month from now or a year from now, you're going to be so glad that you stuck with it. And it's not easy, okay? That's why I really incorporated a lot to do with posture and spine strength and spine lengthening and this visualization, because I realize it's not necessarily easy for a lot of people. We're going to come back down to seated, okay? We're going to cross our legs however is comfortable for you. So one ankle in front of the other, or you can take easy pose, putting one underneath, or you can stack your ankles here if you want to. Close your eyes, take your hands to your knees. Okay, sit as tall as you can. We're going to practice the same forward fold from a seated position. You can let the hands lead the way if you would like to. And don't expect to fold as far forward maybe as you think you should be able to. So keep the length in the spine, okay? Working at lengthening and strengthening so that we can have good posture and more easily accessible good posture. Walk your hands as far forward as you can, and then just let your head go here. Try to feel nice and long or lengthen if you can, from fingertips back to the hips. For many of you, you will be very close to your body with your hands, and that's okay. Still try to draw the heart forward and lengthen up and away through the crown of the head. This helps open up the hips, and if we can help to open the hips, paired with last week's actions of helping to pull the shoulders back, you will find so much space in your body that you didn't have before. Good job. Come all the way back up to seated from as far or as close as you were to your body. Bring your hands onto the knees. Let's turn the palms up this time. So just finishing off, taking a couple of breaths, noticing your posture, noticing the stack of your spine. So from that base of your pelvis all the way up each section, sort of feel where your tailbone is and where your belly is, where your heart is, where your shoulders are. Try to bring yourself into that nice tall stack. Sometimes for me, and it just depends on the day, I almost feel like I'm leaning back here when I bring everything into a nice tall line. Remember, life pulls us forward. We want to be in this constant roundness and slump, using our hands out in front of us. Try to imagine a string that's attached to the crown of the head, and that string is lifting you to the ceiling or shortening you up towards the ceiling with every inhale that you take. So take one deep breath in. Exhale and retain the posture. One more time. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale and retain. Good. Finishing things off by interlacing our hands behind our back, just drawing the knuckles away from ourselves, lifting the chin, opening, taking a deep breath into the space where your heart is. Good job. Bring your hands back. And that is that. So good job, you guys. Stick with it. I've got one more class of posture next week, and it's really going to help you as we go through the flow classes and different modalities as well. So hands are to heart center. We're going to close our class, taking thumbs to forehead, kind thoughts, to mouth, kind words, and to chest, kind hearts. Namaste, my friends.